Hi everyone. Now we are going to discuss about the topic of applications of the uncertainty principle. So according to this topic, we have to discuss about two subtopics. One is regarding non-existence of free electrons in the nucleus, and the second application is size and ground state energy of the hydrogen atom. So these two are the most important application of utilizing Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. We are just going to discuss about the concept of non-existence of free electrons in the nucleus. We already known well about the structure of atom. So after Sommerfeld, Bohr introduced the concept of fixed orbit with the energy. So where the electrons are revolving around it from the nucleus with the radius r, and then we just known the case if there is a possibility of an atom consist of nucleus. In that nucleus we have a chance of free electrons. So we already known well a nucleus consists of only positive charges by means of protons, and then we have chargeless neutrons are there. So by using of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, now we are going to prove that there is no chance of availability of electrons inside the nucleus. So that is the most important application of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. So we already known that with respect to a beta decay of a radionuclei, it was noticed that the electrons to be emitted from an atom having an energy of around 4 million electron volt, and we know the term rest mass of electron will be equal to 9.11 × 10⁻³ kilograms, and then the most important element what we are going to take for the present case is hydrogen. So the diameter of the hydrogen nuclei is of the order of 2 × 10⁻14 meter. So by using of these data, we are going to prove that there is no chance of electrons available inside the nucleus, and electrons should be revolving around the nucleus. Okay. So now we are just thinking about a case if there is a chance of electron exists inside the nucleus, then what about the analysis of position of the nuclei? Otherwise you say minimum uncertainty or the maximum uncertainty in the position of the nuclei. Position of electrons inside the nucleus may be of the order of 2 × 10⁻⁴ meter. So you say delta x is the maximum uncertainty in analyzing the position of the electron will be equal to 2 × 10⁻14 meter. And we know well according to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, the product of uncertainty in position, uncertainty in momentum will be greater than or equal to h cross, or it is equal to h by 2 pi. So now we just use the term of delta x in our equation. So we know well delta px representing the uncertainty in momentum should be greater than or equal to h cross by delta x. So you know the term h cross is nothing but h by 2 pi, and then all the terms are constant. We already know h, the value of Planck's constant we are applying, and pi 3.14, and delta x the value what you given with regarding the diameter of the hydrogen atom. So by using of all these things, you can find the minimum uncertainty in the momentum is given by 5.278 × 10⁻21 kilogram meter per second. So it means that if there is an electron exists inside the nucleus, its minimum momentum must be equal to 5.278 × 10⁻21. Okay, right? Now we are just going to find out what about the relativistic energy of a particle inside the nucleus. So you just find the term E square equal to P squared C squared plus M0 squared C power 4 is the general formula for calculating relativistic energy of particle. Okay. So we just think about the case of for an electron with a minimum momentum, then the minimum energy will be equal to, you said E minimum represents the minimum energy of the electron inside the nucleus will be equal to P minimum square. So we know well, we are saying that P minimum is the minimum momentum, or we say about minimum uncertainty in momentum we achieved if suppose the electron is available inside the nucleus. So it is P minimum squared C squared plus M0 squared C power 4. So we already known the value of P minimum as we got it from here, from the earlier derivation part, and C is the velocity of light. Likewise M0 representing the rest mass of the electron. So once you substitute all these values, you got the final term of square of the minimum energy will be equal to this much. We are just neglecting the second term because of we known well the first term itself in the order of 10⁻24, whereas the second term you got is around -10⁻27. So the value of this term is very minimum, so we are neglecting it. So we say square of the minimum energy will be equal to or nearly equal to 2.5 in 10 power minus 24 joules. Now we want to find out what about the minimum energy of the free electron. If suppose it is available inside the nucleus, just go for square rooting it. You get the final term of the energy of electron inside, the minimum energy of electron available inside nucleus will be 1.58 10 power minus 12 joules. If I want to convert it into electron volt, I just divide the term by charge of electron. It is 1.6 in 10 power minus 19 an approximate value. Then I can get the final term of minimum energy of the electron which is available inside the nucleus will be equal to 9.875 million electron volt. So you just find the case if there is a possibilities of electron available inside the nucleus, and then the energy of the electron will be around 10 million electron volt. So we already known well the maximum kinetic energy by which a beta particle emitted from the radioactive nuclei have the energy is about 4 million electron volt. So you just notice that there should be an abrupt difference between the values what we got from experimental with respect to the theoretical calculations. So by means that it is confirmed that there is no possibilities of electrons to be available inside the nucleus. So this is the most important application of usage of uncertainty principle. Okay. Now we go for the second important application of utilizing Heisenberg's uncertainty principle on analyzing size of the hydrogen atom and what about the ground state energy of the electrons in the orbit of the hydrogen atom. So we already known well, if suppose the electron of the hydrogen atom moves around the proton in a circular orbit of radius r, and then what about the maximum uncertainty in the determination of position will be equal to delta r will be equal to r. So r representing radius of the first orbit, and then you know well according to uncertainty relations we say delta r representing delta x, change in the position of the electrons which is available inside the orbit or inside the atom will be equal to delta r into delta p is greater than or equal to h cross. So we are just going to take the minimum uncertainty position. So instead of greater than, we just remove the term as equal. So I can get it is h cross divided by delta r, otherwise we can write as h cross by r. So you know well delta p is the momentum, uncertainty in the momentum of the electron which is available in the first orbit of the hydrogen atom. So we can write as the minimum value should be of equal to, minimum passing momentum will be equal to p will be equal to h cross by r. Now we are just going to find out what about the kinetic energy of the electron. So it is kinetic energy represents k will be equal to p squared by 2m. So we know the value of p, it is h cross by r. If I substitute the value of p, then I can get the final term of kinetic energy of the electron which is available in the first orbit of the hydrogen atom will be equal to h cross squared by 2m r square. Likewise, what about the potential energy of the electron? So it will be equal to minus of E square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r. So this one is we already derived from the electrostatic calculations or from electrostatics. We are just getting this result alone. So by using of this one, we get the final term of the total energy of the electron in hydrogen atom is given by kinetic, is a summation of both kinetic energy and potential energy. So the ground state energy must be a minimum value of E, because you know that is the starting point. You know that electrons are, hydrogen atom have only 2 electrons, both of those electrons only available in the first orbit. So that is the minimum energy of the electron which is available inside the system. So I want to go for calculating what may be the minimum and maximum value of E. For the minimum value of E, I just go for differentiating the term E. So once I go for dE by dr with respect to the radius r, I can get the term of, you just find here, if I differentiate h cross squared by 2m r squared, so r is in the r squared in the denominator term, so I can get in the numerator as minus 2 by r cube, the value what I got for differentiating 1 by r squared. Likewise, if I go here, E squared by 4 by epsilon is a common term, whereas if I differentiate 1 by r, I can get minus of 1 by r squared. So if I add these two terms, I got the final terms of minus h cross squared divided by m r cube plus E squared by 4 pi epsilon naught r squared, which is equal to 0. Why? Because of E is constant 1. So if I differentiate the term E, I can get the final term 0. So once I differentiate constant, I got the 0 value. So by means that I got a final equation of E squared by 4 pi epsilon naught squared will be equal to H cross squared by mr. So this is the derivative what I got, this is the result what I got from the derivation of differentiating the energy with respect to radius. So by using of this equation I got the final term. What about the radius of electron, radius of the first orbit in the hydrogen atom will be equal to epsilon naught h square divided by pi m e square. So this expression simply represents radius of the first orbit, or you say it is first Bohr orbit. Now we are going to start analyzing about what may be the maximum value of energy of electron in the first orbit of hydrogen atom. So for that we have to go for second order differentiation of energy with respect to the radius. So for that I guess we already have a term, first order differentiation of energy with respect to radius. So we are just utilizing the term. Then if we go for second order differentiation of this equation, you just find the right side, the first term h cross squared by m is a constant 1. So if I differentiate 1 by r cube with respect to r, we can get the term of 3 divided by r power 4. So we have term minus also. So by means the minus negative term cancels each other on both sides. Whereas on the second term, if I differentiate 1 by r square with respect to r, we can get the term of 2 by r cube. So we get the term minus. So here I just get the minus term here. And we have on numerator we have 2, denominator we have 4. By means that if it is cancelling it, we get a final term of 2 pi epsilon naught into r cube. So if I just take 1 by r cube as a common term on both terms, so by means that I can get the final solution of 3 h cross squared by mr minus of e squared by 2 pi epsilon naught into epsilon naught. So we know the term what's the value of r here. So if we start, if we are just substituting the value of r on this equation, we got the final solution of d square d by dr square is a second order differentiation of energy with respect to radius will be equal to 3 e squared divided by 4 pi epsilon naught minus of e squared by 2 pi epsilon naught. If we just go for analyzing of this term, you can notice that it should be of positive quantity. So we have a chance of negative to positive potential we can get from the energy of electron in the first orbit. Now we are going to find out what about the size of the hydrogen atom. For that we are just taking the term r equal to epsilon naught h squared by pi m e squared. We just find all the terms on this equation is constant. So we can easily substitute the values and get the value of what about the radius of first orbit of the hydrogen atom. So we say that orbit to be named as ground state, because electrons, we have only 2 electrons in the hydrogen atom. By means that as per Pauli's exclusion principle, we have a chance of only 2 electrons in the first orbit. So that 2 electrons of hydrogen atom only available in the first orbit. By means that the second orbit is totally unfilled. So by means that we can say the first orbit of the hydrogen atom will be the ground state. The next orbit will be the energy of the electrons will be in the second state will be named as higher level. So when you are substituting the numerical values of constant, so you got the final term of the radius of the first orbit of the hydrogen atom will be equal to 5.31 in 10 power minus 11 meters. So this value is termed as Bohr radius, so which is to be taken as a constant, because Bohr radius is a physical constant which is equal to the most probable distance between the nucleus and the electrons in the hydrogen atom in its ground state. So it is named after Niels Bohr due to his role on analyzing the structure of atom by means of Bohr's model of an atom. So the exact value of Bohr's radius will be equal to 5.29. You just notice there how much of the improvement in accuracy will be there. So because here we just simply substituted, instead of 8.854 we just given it as 8.85. Likewise 6.626 will become, else we just 6.63. So likewise if you go for all the terms with a good accuracy, then we can get the exact value of A naught is called as Bohr radius will be equal to this much. So by using of the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, so the size of the hydrogen atom is exactly identified. So this one is one important application of utilization of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Now we are going to work out with analyzing energy of the electrons in the ground state. So for this one we are just starting utilizing of the term E. So what it is derived in our earlier case. So we just derived it here. So regarding the total energy of the electron in the hydrogen atom. So this term we are going to utilize it. So in this case, just fine if I take the common term of 1 by R from both terms of right side. So I can get the final term like this. If we start substituting the value of R representing the Bohr radius into this equation, by means that we can get the final solution of the energy of the electrons in the ground state will be equal to minus of m e power 4 divided by 8 epsilon naught square into h square. So here also you just notice that all the terms m, e, epsilon naught and h all are constant. So once you substitute all the values of constant on this equation, you got the final term of the energy of electron in the first orbit of hydrogen atom will be equal to minus of 13.6 electron volt. So this is the well known value of the ground state energy of the hydrogen atom. We known well the energy of the electron in the ground state will be given by minus 13.6 electron volt, whereas if we want to define with what about the energy of electrons in the successive orbits, so we have a term, this En represents energy of electron in the particular orbit of n represents the number of orbits will be equal to minus 13.6 electron volt divided by n square. So if I substitute n equal to 1 for hydrogen atom, because we have 2 electrons in the first orbit alone, so if we substitute n equal to 1, we can get energy of the electron in the first orbit will be equal to minus 13.6 electron volt, what we got from the derivative part. And then if you go with any other elements, we have just utilizing the same equation, because in known well we are just fixing the radius of nuclei is a constant 1. So that is the importance of Bohr radius. So we known well whenever you just start substituting the terms of n with respect to the number of orbits, so we can get the energy of electrons in the particular orbit from the nucleus. So this one is the one other important application of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle regarding the analysis of energy of electrons in the ground state of hydrogen atom. I think you understand the topic well. Thank you.